Hello all, this is Liji. Today we will see range function in Python followed by for loop and some different flavors of for loop. Okay, so to start with, what is a range function? Okay, so the Python range function returns a sequence of numbers. Last day we saw while loop, and in that we were able to generate a series or sequence of numbers or things like that, right? But instead of writing the whole while loop, we can generate a sequence of numbers. Okay, that facility is provided by this range function. Okay, so the syntax of range function is range, open brackets, open the brackets and close the brackets, and within the brackets we can give three parameters: start, stop, and step. And out of the three parameters also, the start parameter is optional and step parameter is optional. So if start parameter is not present, by default it considers it as 0. If step parameter is not present, by default it considers it as 1. But stop will always be there. We have to always mention the stop in the range function. Okay, and what does this range function does? It returns a sequence till stop minus 1. See, if stop is 5, it will return a sequence of numbers till 4 only. It won't include the stop per se. Okay, it will return a sequence till stop minus 1. We will see with this with few examples. First is range of 5. If you can see here, range of 5, which means we have specified only one parameter over here. Okay, only one parameter means it is understood that start and step is not passed because those are optional parameters, and stop is the mandatory parameter. So this one parameter is considered as the stop parameter. Range of 5, which means stop is 5, and by default if start is not specified it will take it as 0. Okay, so it will return numbers from 0 till 4. 5 won't be included. We'll just see when we give range of 5 what will happen. It is returning a range object which is starting from 0 till 5. As I told, it will return numbers from 0 to 5, right? But it won't return the entire numbers as it is. Okay, it will return a range object only, because if you return the entire numbers as it is, there is we have to take into account memory space constraint and all, and that is why this range function is defined in such that it will return your range object, and whatever manipulations you want to do with those set of numbers, it can be performed. Okay, that we'll see in later point of today's tutorials. So it returns, as we told before, it returns a range starting with 0 up till 4. This 5 won't be included. Now we will see what exactly are those numbers. We'll convert this range object into a list. What is a list? A list is a Python data type. We have seen many data type like int, string, and all. List is another Python data type which is mentioned as a sequence, in which a sequence of items are there. Okay, so we'll just see this. You'll understand what's a list also. Yeah, see, so now this range is converted to list. So here the numbers are listed by, and those are separated using comma. So this is of list data type. Okay, so if I just check that, see, type of this thing is list. Okay, and if you are checking here, type of range, it's a range. Okay, so this range range function returns a range object, okay, but when we convert it into list, we can see exactly what numbers are present in it. Okay, so the list of range of 5 returned you the numbers starting from 0, that is 0 1 2 3 4, 2 3 and 4. Not that the 5 is not included, because the stop is not included. It will just return numbers up till stop minus 1. Okay, and when we see the type of it, it's a list. So this is how a Python list looks like. Okay, the items are included within square brackets and separated using commas. So basically what happened, we are just converting this range object into a list. Like the same way we converted string to int. We used int to convert, int function to convert there. Here we are using list function to convert it into a list. And we are able to clearly able to see what are the numbers in it. Okay, so this is range of 5. Now if you see over here, range 10, 20, two parameters are performed. So what Python will do is 10 is considered as the start and 20 is considered as the stop, and by default step is considered as 1. Okay, so 10, 20 will return a range object, that is 10, 20, and when we list it out, we'll be able to see the numbers exactly. So that is 10, 11, 12, 13 up till 19. Not here, 20 is not included because it will return a number 1 less than the exactly the stop. Now here we are specifying 3 parameters, that is 10 is considered as the start, 20 is considered as the stop, and here we want it to return as numbers with a step of 2. Till now it was returning as numbers with step of 1. See, if you see here, 0, 0 plus 1, 1, 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 1, 3, 3 plus 1, 4, right? So the step was 1 there by default. 10 plus 1, 11, 11 plus 1, 12, 12 plus 1, 13, like that. Now here we want it to return as numbers in steps of 2. So how it will be? It will start from, so okay, it will return a range object again, but in order to see what is inside it, we'll convert it into list. Yes, we got the list of numbers that the range function has returned us. Okay, so it starts from 10, increments 10 plus 2 12, 12 plus 2 14, 14 plus 2 16, 16 plus 2 18. Now 18 plus 2 is 20. Since 20 is the stop, it has not returned it. Okay, so this is when you are having a step which is not equal to 1. Here we have specified 3 parameters. That's fine. Now consider this. Here we have mentioned start as 10, stop as 1, and step as minus 1. That is, it wants us to return numbers starting from 10 till 1. And if we want to do from 10 till 1, what should it be? 10 minus 1, 9. It has to be a negative step, right? That's why negative 1 is specified over here. Okay, so it will return us 10, 9, 8, 7 and up till 2. Okay, now if it is not necessary that you have to always give minus 1 over here, you can give minus 2. So it will be 10, 8, like that it will return us. See, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Okay, see how easy it is to generate a sequence of numbers. Yesterday we saw that in while loop. With while loop we saw that, but there we had to write, manipulate, and write a few number of steps, right? Few instructions we had to give there, and we had to use a loop too. Now with the range function, it is so easy to generate a sequence of numbers, right? Now yes, we'll see this range of 10 1. Okay, only 2 parameters are there. Only 2 parameters means the step is not present, so it wants us to start from 10 and give us till 1. Okay, is it possible? Means with the step 1, 10 plus 1 it will do, right? Then it will give 11 only. So in order to get numbers from 10 to 1, it is not possible with a positive step. Okay, so it has returned us an empty list. Had it been minus 1 over here, as we have seen here, then it would have returned at the correct sequence. Okay, here since the step we didn't mention, it considers it as a positive 1. by default, and because of that it is not able to return us a proper numbers as we expected. Okay, now here just this is just I just wanted to show a sequence of numbers with higher numbers. So I started, what we are doing, we are starting with 100 going up till 1000, but in steps of 60. So 100, 160, so we are just incrementing by 60, 60, 60. It from 940, when you increment 60 it is 1000, but 1000 is the stop, so that's why it is not included over here. I hope range is clear to everyone. Okay, so basically range returns a sequence of numbers. It will return a range object. It will return a range object only, but when we have to manipulate it, we can manipulate it by converting into list, or we can use it in for loop that we will see just now in another 1 or 2 seconds. Now, and the syntax of range is start, stop, and step. That is, we can specify 3 parameters over there. Start and steps are optional. Stop is mandatory. When we specify stop, it will return us a sequence of numbers up till stop minus 1. Okay, start by default is taken as 0 and step by default is taken as 1. Now let us see for loop. Okay, so loop, as you have seen in the last class, loop is used to repeat a certain number of steps without repeating it, right? Here for loop is used for iterating over a sequence. Okay, suppose if we have a sequence, this for loop helps us to iterate over a sequence. Okay, so I'll just show what it is. Here for num in range 5, 23. So what we are telling here, the sequence is starting from 5 going up till 19, up till 20, because 20 won't be included in that, in steps of 3. So it will be 5, 8, 11, 14. 14 plus 3 is 17. 17 plus 3 is 20. It won't be included, right? So let us see what happens. See, 5, 8, 11, 14, 17. So here we use list to see what the range is returning, right? So we got it as a list over here. But if we want to use these numbers generated by the sequence for some specific purpose, so we can use a for loop. It will just get these numbers one by one. Okay, here we are just printing it, but whatever things you want to do with these numbers, we can do it. Okay, so the syntax is for. It starts with the keyword for. Then we have to use a variable. Okay, so all these numbers in the sequence, it will be assigned to this variable one by one. In the first iteration, it will assign the first number. Second iteration now will become 8. Third iteration now will become 11. So it will, in each of the iteration, this variable is going to change. Okay, now in is an operator over here. Okay, so it is just mentioning that this number is present in this sequence. Okay, if this number is present in this. For num in range, then here you have to give a sequence. It's not necessary that it has to be range over here. It can be any Python sequence. Python has many sequence, right? Range is the string, is again a sequence. Then there is list, as we have seen. Then there are other sequence like tuple, sets, etc. Okay, so it can be any sequence of here. It need not be range. Okay, so the syntax is for a variable in a sequence, then whatever you want manipulation you want to do with each of the items in the sequence. Okay, so it is like that. So for num in range, this thing we are printing the numbers in the range one by one. Okay, now here if you see, suppose you want to print the numbers from 1 to 10. Okay, for num in range of 10. Okay, since we want to print from 1 to 10, we have to give 1 over here, else by default it will be taken as 0. I have mentioned it as right, yes, else by default it will be taken as 0. Okay, I'll show with 0 also. And print num, okay, started from 0 up till 9. So if I want to print from 1 to 10, I have to make it 1, and I'll have to make it 11 over here. 10 also won't be printed, right? So 1 to Okay, for num in range either, then we got we were printing the number. Now here, now we'll see this with string. So s is a variable which is assigned the string value Python for ch in s. Okay, see, it took all these characters one by one. Okay, so ch initially it will be p, then y, then t. So we took it one by one and then we are printing it. So basically for loops helps us to iterate over a sequence. That's it. So it is much simpler to generate a set of numbers or to iterate over a sequence using for loop than using while loop. In while loops also we have seen all these things, how we can achieve all these things, but with for loop it is more easy. Now, this in operator that we have seen. Okay, so Python provides us two operator, that is in and not in. They are known as membership operators. What it does is it checks if an item is present in a sequence or not. So if the item is present in the sequence, it returns as true, otherwise it returns as false. So here we are checking A in Python. So you are checking if A is present in this string Python. It returned as false because it is not present. If a not in Python, so it is just taking a not in Python. If a is not in Python, yes, a is not in Python, it returned as true. Okay, now 3 in range 0, 10, 3. Yes, just think if the range is starting with 0 going up till 10 in steps of 3. So first it will be 0, then it will be 3, then it will be 6, and then it will be 9. So 3 is present, so this will return as true. 4 not in range 1 of 4. 1 of 4 means it is 1, 2 and 3 only, right? 4 is not included. So this will also return us true. So basically in and not in a membership operators which checks whether an item is present in a sequence or not. Yesterday we saw break and continue with while loop, right? So same way break and continue we can use with for loop also. Okay, so here we are doing for I in range 10 to 20. To 10 to 20 means 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, like that up till 19. And if I equal to 15, so once I reaches 15, you are asking it to break. Yeah, it executed 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and when I became 15, it break from the loop. Otherwise, it were printing up till that. Okay. Now, here same thing. We are telling when I equal 15, just continue. So, continue means it won't come to this step. It will just go to this here again, right? So, what happens? It will print all the numbers from 10 to 19, but it won't print 15 because in 15 we are telling continue, right? Yeah. Now, else. Else is a clause given by Python to work with loops. It is not only with for loop, it can be with while loop also. Okay. What happens is if a loop executes properly without uh, any interruption in between, that is it is not the break is not happening and things like that, without any interruption in between, then only this else will be printed. Okay, else will be taken into account. Okay, so I am just checking for ch a variable ch in. I have given some random characters over here. It was just random, I just typed it like this. Okay, I'm checking if ch equal to a, so any of this is equal to a, I'm asking it to break from the loop, otherwise I am just printing it. Okay, so I'll just remove this end and I'll show. Yeah, it printed all the characters from one to one and one by one, and it is telling A is not there. Okay, so in this set of characters, whatever I have given, A is not there. Okay, so it came to else and it executed this. Suppose I am adding A over here. Yes, I added A over here. So it printed up till F. Okay, after F it is A. So it just broke out of the loop. And since it broke out of the loop and loop couldn't complete its execution, it didn't come to else loop. See, else A is not there, message is not printed. Okay, that is, it didn't come here because this loop didn't complete its execution. We had to break from it in between. So that is what else clause all about. It works with both for loop and while loop. It is like if the loop executes properly without any interruption, then only this else will be executed. Okay, same thing I'm just showing here using this numbers 1, 10 and 3. In steps of 3 we are doing. So 1, 10 and 3 means starts with 1, then it will be 4, then it will be 7. That's it, 10 won't be there, right? So what we'll do, 1, 4, 7. So 2 is not there. What we are doing, if the num equal to 2, then we are asking it to break. So 2 is not there, so it is not breaking from the loop, and the loop is completing, it's executing properly, so it printed 2 is not in the range. Okay, suppose this step was not there, means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, means 2 is there. So what happens, let us see. It printed 1, and after that num became 2, and since it is 2, then we are breaking out of the loop, and because of that it is not printing, it is not completing the normal execution, and because of that this step is not executed. So today what all things we covered range function, we covered this range function, we covered for loop, we covered in and not in operator, we saw break and continue with for loop, and else with loops. That's all for today. Thank you all.